Yo, 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 Shellstastic Sports, your boy Shellstastic again with another video. Yeah, another scenario. I'm just at home. I've got to catch up on a lot of content, man. There's a lot of stuff I want to put out, man. So I'm gonna start with. I am late, so don't shoot me. But I want to start with the first week of the Premier League last weekend. I should have dropped. I did plan to drop it Monday, and I want to try and start doing that. The next day after, like obviously there's a Monday night football, I do it Tuesday. I want to get back into a proper rhythm now and sort this thing out properly and stop being a bit scattered around with my content. So trust me, I will get it in date. Just bear with me. It's got so much stuff going on, and yeah, it's a bit crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely try my best to get everything in point, so I'm not out of date of when I'm doing videos. So yeah, Monday, first Premier League weekday one Premier League review. And it was good to have the Premier League back, obviously. Obviously kicked off with my team, Arsenal, going away to Sellers Park, going to play Crystal Palace away at Sellers Park. Difficult game. I'm going to do a separate video on the game, obviously, because I'm Arsenal supporter, you all know. So I'll do a separate video on Arsenal, on that game. But yeah, it was good. 2-0 to the Arsenal. Good football game. Typical Premier League, you know, the Arsenal top up moments. Especially first 20 minutes, half an hour, and then obviously Crystal Palace got back into the game. Ramsey had to make a few good saves, stuff like that. But yeah, I'll leave that more into the separate video of how I thought that game went specifically. But yeah, great start to the league. Arsenal doing well, done good business in the summer, and you know you can see the new signings. Jesus is doing really well, so good start. And then Palace, you know they're going to be there and thereabouts. Vieira did really well last season with them. So yeah, man, great to see Crystal Palace, you know, still in the league and yeah, doing well. So it was a good opening to the start of this season. It's going to be a weird season with the World Cup in the middle of it, and we don't know how that's going to affect players coming back. So it's a bit. It seems like earlier than ever, but it's going to be a bit strange how it's going to work out. But we're football fans, and we're just going to embrace it week by week. So yeah, good start to the opening of the weekend. I can just look through the other results. And then obviously we had last season's second place runners-up Liverpool at Fulham on a Saturday morning. I think it was a 12:30 kickoff. And yeah, surprisingly Fulham put up a really good fight, man. You know, newly promoted teams like Arsenal experienced it last year with Brentford. Last season, they have something to prove, and you know, Liverpool looked a bit didn't look like themselves. It's strange because you look at them the week before in the Community Shield against City, they looked like they were at it, you know what I mean? And they played really well and they obviously won. So yeah, but Fulham, fair play to them, all over them like a rash. They just Liverpool, they did to Liverpool do to most teams, and that's just don't let you breathe and just strangle you. But Fulham strangled them, and yeah, they made Mitrovic looked really good, man. Very on point, caused issues, scored 2 goals. But you know, Liverpool being the team they are, they always gonna have that fight. Obviously, it's going to be different with them about Mane. I personally think that's going to be a huge miss. And I think this is why City will win more comfortably, in my opinion, this season rather than just down to a point again. Because with Haaland there and then Mane moving on to Bayern Munich, I just think I don't think they realise how big a miss that is. So yeah, I think, but you know, Nunes coming scoring his debut in the league, good finish, and obviously got assist for Salah's goal. So he looks like he settled it pretty quickly. But yeah, it was a good performance from Fulham, good point, and Liverpool will be happy. I think if you heard Klopp at the end of the game saying that he was happy to leave a point, I think that was about right. It was good to leave with at least a point, not losing the opening day of the season. So yeah, it was a good game. But yeah, that was the first Saturday game of the first weekend of the new Premier League, and yeah, good, interesting game, man. Moving on, you had obviously Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest as well. That fight, obviously I watched highlights of it, I didn't see that live, but Newcastle again, they haven't been blowing. I think a lot of us thought in the season with the money they're going to have to spend this summer, they're going crazy. But I like their approach. I like that they're being patient. They're not going overpriced and spending silly money on players because everybody knows they got silly money. They actually are being patient and trying to buy the right players, and I like that. I like the fact they're being very patient and trying to take the time and, you know, buy the right players as well. So. And they got off to a good start against newly promoted Forest, coming up first time, I think, 20 odd years. 23 years, I think, is the last time they won the Premier League. So, yeah, great start. Newcastle at St James's Park. They're going to want to make that a fortress, and then we'll see. And then, I mean, I think they will finish. They could finish in the top 10 this year if they, play stay fit, and the market ain't finished yet. Still a couple of weeks left. But I'm sure Newcastle will try to bring in some players between now and then. So be interesting to see where they finish, because obviously their project is probably to be in the next couple of years start competing for the title. So they're gonna slowly make their way up the table year by year. So it'll be interesting how they go this season. But a good start for them. And for Forest, obviously they're just getting their foot wet. First time being in this position for 20 odd years. So their goals will just be to stabilize themselves in the Premier League, and then we'll see what that takes them future on. But yeah, it's good to see from the Forest back in the big time, man. They definitely has been too long. Moving on, you had Leeds versus Wolves. Interesting. Obviously Leeds are about Rafinha now, and they got a 2-1 win at Ellen Road against Wolves. Wolves haven't done that much business from what I recall. So it's pretty much the same team. Interesting how they are, because Wolves have been the last couple of seasons, last 2 or 3, been always competing around that top 7, top 8. So it'll be interesting if they can maintain that. And Leeds, obviously, they just stayed up on the last day. So it'll be interesting where they go this season. But yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, they got off to a good start. 2-1, they found their home fans. Couldn't ask for much more than that. And yeah, they start the season well. Wolves, we'll see if they can do what they've been doing for the last couple of years and give everyone a tough game, which they normally do. But yeah, normally the first games I don't watch too much, because sometimes it's still pre-season in a sense. You don't really get up and run until 5, 6, 7 games this season to start seeing the energy levels and the proper teams start separating themselves. So be interesting. The next game, newly promoted Bournemouth, was at home to Aston Villa, Stephen G's Aston Villa, and they actually beat them 2-0 at home. So great start for the newly promoted team again, just like Fulham and Liverpool earlier. And I'm sure Steve G weren't too happy with that. They have spent quite a bit of money in the market, Villa, and obviously didn't get off to a good start at all. And obviously the whole Tyrone Mings thing, stripping him and then stripping him of captaincy and dropping him and then losing 2-0. It always gets highlighted more. It's like you make a decision like that, and you're winning, it's fine. Like for example, Arsenal last season, when Arteta stripped out Aubameyang, we started winning games. No one really talked about it. So when you make big decisions like that and you're winning, okay, cool. Maybe you made a master genius stroke. But if you start losing, I know it's only game day 1, so I'm not going to go overboard a bit. Then yeah, of course, everyone's going to talk about it and stuff like that. So yeah, but it's only game day 1. Good stuff for Bournemouth. They're obviously, again, like Forest, like Fulham, their main goals is to try and stay in the league. Remember Bournemouth on their day how a couple of years ago they were a good footballing side. So it'll be interesting what Scott Parker's got them doing down there. But yeah, it was a good start for them, man. So happy to see them back, and yeah, good 2-0 win over Aston Villa. What do you think Aston Villa's ambitions are going to be this season? I think again, with the money they spend, I feel like they're going to be trying to do around the top 8, top 10, top 8 as well, like similar to what I said with Newcastle. So it's going to be an interesting season. Like I said, a lot of teams' ambitions are going to be a lot higher now. So it'll be interesting. A lot of good teams in the Premier League, man. Compared to when I started watching football, it was only Man United and Arsenal at the time, and then Chelsea came in, and then obviously over time City have come in and Liverpool have come back. So a lot of very good football teams out there, man. So it'll be interesting how this season goes on. Probably could be the best season ever yet. We say this every season, but I feel like this season could really be interesting. With everyone, a lot of teams fighting for different things, man. So it'll be interesting. Moving on to those lot, Tottenham versus Southampton, absolutely hammered them 4-1. And funny enough, no Kane or Son didn't score, but they still put 4 past Southampton. I mean, Ward-Prowse, who's in my actual fantasy team, actually scored for Southampton, opened the scoring, but Tottenham came back with 4 goals. Interesting. A lot of people talking. Spurs fans always getting a bit gassed, talking about they can be challenging for the league or closing that gap between them and City and Liverpool. Well, we'll see. All these players that they bought got a gel as well. So we'll see if Conte's got this team that gap close enough to start thinking about that. But they're a strong team. I hate to say it as an Arsenal fan, but Tottenham they have recruited really well. First time they really spent money. Then obviously Conte definitely gave them the boot and said, listen, you don't spend money, I'm gone. So yeah, they've definitely spent some money. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, they're another big team that spent money as well. So it's gonna be an interesting season for them as well. As for Southampton, they're always there and thereabouts. They give all the big teams tough games. I feel like they'll be safe, but you know that wasn't really the best start to the season. But again, it's only game they won. We'll see how they move on as the season goes on. Moving on to Everton Chelsea. Now this is an interesting game because Everton haven't really been spending money. They've been pinching around, picking up players here, picking up players there. And obviously Chelsea have been struggling with losing strikers, Werner, Lukaku, new ownership. And Tom Dooley's pretty much doing everything by himself. So it's a bit strange. There's no sporting director there. There isn't no one managing the negotiations. It's all Tom Dooley, the owner. So, but they have always some good players, Barley, Sterling, Cucurella. You know, these are the bigger names. So they are doing business, and I'm sure between now and the window they will do a few more signings. Striker definitely getting talked about a lot. So be interesting what Chelsea do between now and the market. But they only sneaked over the line with a penalty. Jorginho scored 1-0. Everton deserved at least a point, I would say. But you know, it was a good game. Chelsea just got over, but sometimes in the football, you learn more from a 1-0 than a 5-0. So Chelsea will be happy to just get on the board, try to take some of the uncertainty around the club away and just focus on football, which is what you need to do. And yeah, so you know they got their campaign off to a winning start. So for them, again, they're going to be challenging in and around that third place. You know, that they're going to be like, I think Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea are all going to be in that similar bracket of just challenging, getting into the top four. So it'll be interesting between those three. I think City and Liverpool are far gone, but I think those three will be challenging for the other one. Three teams for two spots basically. So it'll be interesting. But for Everton, I'm worried because, you know, Frank Lampard, again, not the highest profile manager, not that experienced, but I'm not quite sure what the project is there at Everton. Is it just to stay up again, or they're trying to progress at the table? I'm not quite sure. I know they've got wealthy owners, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what their project is. What's the thing? What they're trying to do? So it'd be interesting if they bring any more players between now and the market and what they go on moving forward as well. That was obviously a tough game for them to open up with, even though they were at goodness. It was always a tough game to open up with, playing Chelsea at home. So you know, unlucky to lose. They didn't deserve that, but you know, these things do happen. Moving on to, I mean, I got Man United supporters that don't even talk no more. Man United versus Brighton. Brighton won 2-1 at Old Trafford. And that was welcome to the Premier League, Ten Hag. It's funny because over the pre-season there's been a lot of optimism around Old Trafford saying that, oh yeah, you're going to do this, going to do that. And then you get your first game of the season and you get actually moved to on the pitch. Like, you didn't put up no fight. The goal you scored was an own goal from Brighton. Didn't really do anything, look outplayed. Now Brighton are a lot more together. They know what they're doing. Graham Potter, excellent manager. I honestly thought he should have been looked at for the Man United job, to be honest with you. Excellent young English manager. He knows what he plays. Even remember, this is a team that lost their two of their best players, Cucurella and Basuma. You know what I mean? And they still were well drilled and well functioned. They knew how to play. And Danny Welbeck, wow, what performance he put in. So you know, it could have been more. You know, Lisandro Martinez fouled him. Should have been a penalty. It wasn't given. So man, I was lucky that this went 3-0. You know, this could have been really embarrassing. So yeah. I'm not sure what Man United is saying. They brought in no one. They brought in, what's his name, Malacia, left back, but he's like one for the future. I thought he was coming into play. They brought in Ericsson again. That ain't going to change anything, you know. He's a good player. I am a fan, even though he's an ex-Tottenham player. I'm a supporter of football, and he's an excellent footballer. But that doesn't make Man United turn to top 4 contenders. And then the other one, yeah, Martinez looked a bit exposed. I'm not sure. His height for me is like an issue. For me, it might be an issue. Probably be an issue moving forward. You know, it's alright playing at Ajax where, you know, most things are technically on the floor, but you come Premier League and you've got big centre forwards and the balls get whipped in the box. You know, he may be a strong man on the ball, on the floor, but when it comes to the aerial thing, there's certain disadvantages that you just can't make up, and he might be targeted. So we'll see how the season goes on, how he deals with the aerial threats of some giants out there in the Premier League. But yeah, what a poor start Old Trafford for Ten Hag's reign, and also for the fans. And yeah, it's just a hangover from last season, isn't it? So we'll see what United have got to do and what they're going to say, what they're going to do. They're still. The problem is they haven't bought no one. They still hold on to De Jong for the last 3 months. everything now is going to be a panic buy. We only got 2 weeks left in the market, if that. So everything now is a panic buy. So this is the problem now. And teams know you want them, they're going to double the price now. So if a man was 15, he's going to be 30 million. Why not just do the business early in the market? This is what I thought. When they announced Ten Hag, I think March, April, this was the plan, that they had a plan for the summer already. But what was the point of announcing then, and then nothing's happened in that time? So I can't really tell you what's going on at Old Trafford. You know, it's quite sad what's going on, and there's a lot of talk about the Glazers and that. But you know, some of them players have got to really look at themselves and think, are they really producing for themselves? Forget about United, just for their own pride. You know, so. But on the flip side, Brighton, Graham Potter, what a great manager, I'm a fan. Play good football, move Man United around, deserve their win, and obviously a lot of their credit will get lost in everyone looking at Man United. So I'm not here to do that. I'm here to praise them and say what a performance. They're always a tough team. They beat Arsenal, they beat Tottenham last season, and obviously they actually smashed Man United 4-0 at the end of the season last season, didn't they? At Amex Arena in Brighton. So yeah, they do give all the big teams trouble. They're not a team that you can walk over. So we'll see what kind of season they have. I don't think they can be in and around the top half as well. 11th, around that. They're a good team, man. Very good team. So they've got a very good manager. Moving on to the other games on last week Sunday, Leicester Brentford, which was an entertaining game. It was a very entertaining game. Leicester were 2 up, and thought the game was comfortable, and then Brentford came back with 2 goals in the second half, and yeah, equalised and stole the points, or share the points. So that would feel like a defeat for Leicester. Disappointing for them, obviously. Haven't bought anyone in the market yet, which is a concern, I would imagine. I'm sure you would have freshened your team every season. Haven't bought in anyone yet. The players, Cassius Michael's gone to Nice in France, south of France. Tielemans is linked to Arsenal. Hopefully we actually do something with that. And Fofana's obviously linked to Chelsea. Obviously he wants to go. So their bigger players want to leave, but they're not bringing anyone in. So it's a bit up and down with Leicester. And to be 2-0 up against Brentford, you expect them to go on to win that at home. But you know, fair play to Brentford. Thomas Frank, did really well last season to keep them up in their first season in the Premier League. And to start the season with taking a point at Leicester, they'd have bit your hand off for the start of the game for that. So yeah, it's a great point for them, man. So yeah, man, decent. It was a good game, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see both teams moving forward. But I don't know. Leicester's still a good team. They've got good players in there. They can keep all their players and maybe add 1 or 2. They're still going to compete around the top 6 or 7 as well. They've been doing it for the last couple of years. Apart from last season, they fell off, but the 2 seasons prior to that, they were challenging the top 4. So that's still not a bad team overnight. They just need a bit more injection of energy into that club. Whether that's selling players and bringing in other players, or keeping the players and bringing in other players, they need to do something. But they are still a very good team. They've got a good manager in Brendan Rodgers. So be interesting to see how they, the next couple of weeks, how they operate in the market and what players go and what players stay and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. And for Brentford, again, I think the mission will be to stay in the league, but maybe move a bit away from the relegation zone and be closer to the top 10. So maybe a 13, 14 finish, something like that would be a good season, I think, for Brentford as well. So we're interested to see how their season plan out. And then obviously, lastly, West Ham versus Man City. Now all eyes are obviously going to be on Erling Haaland making his Premier League debut for Man City at the Olympic Stadium, or the London Stadium, sorry, against West Ham. David Moyes and West Ham have been spending money in this transfer market, and obviously City done their business quite early as well. So it's obviously a tough game. I mean, West Ham gave everyone problems. Again, they're going to be another team competing in that top 6 that are around that area that they did last season. So it's always going to be a tough game. But Man City pretty much deserved it. They dominated from large periods. West Ham couldn't really come out apart from the start of the second half. The first 10 minutes or so, they came out after looking for it. But yeah, it was a pretty decent game. So yeah, West Ham. I feel David Moyes would be a bit upset that they didn't really press and push it, And then when they did, they 1-0 down, and then City did kick them in the counter. Wonderful ball from De Bruyne, slipped into Haaland, and he does what he does best, and he scores. And that boy's gonna be a killer. He is a killer. He's gonna score a lot of goals. City create enough, and he will score the goals that they were missing out on last season. And let's be honest, if City had a clinical striker last season, it wouldn't have been a point between them and Liverpool. It would have been 10. So, yeah. So yeah, I think they will for me will win the league again. They've got the best squad. Very, very phenomenal manager. But yeah, I think just up front, Haaland's just a bit more proven than say Nunes at Liverpool. So I think in the end that'll be the difference. But interesting. But yeah, City for me will win the league. They'll be too hungry. I think and they'll go far in the Champions League because I think Haaland's that difference maker in the Champions League as well. For West Ham again, they'll be competing in the top 6, top 7, around there. So yeah, I expect them to be competing and making it difficult. But you know, it'll be interesting if West Ham can maintain it. We've seen Leicester do it for a couple of years and then fall off. Third year, can David Moyes have been doing it for a couple of years. Are they going to fall off this year or are they going to continue? So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it is. But you know, again, it's only game week 1, so all these games I've gone through today, I'm not going to go too deep because only first game is still like pre-season-ish. You know, I feel like after 4 or 5 games, that's when the pre-season's going now into the season. So a lot of it doesn't matter, but you don't lose 4 games. The first 4 games can put some pressure. So yeah, let's. But yeah, that's my Premier League review of the games. What's your thoughts on them? Do you think I missed any points on any of those games? And yeah, I mean, and if you support any teams or any of the 20 teams I've named there, what do you think they're going to achieve this season? What do you think their ambition should be to do? Yeah, leave your points in the comment section below. I'm just happy the league's back. I miss it. You know, I was disappointed towards the end of the season with Arsenal, but again, I'll do that in the same video. But you know, I'm happy to see the league's back and running, and you know, we're seeing good goals already, and just everything, man. You know, Premier League's the best league in the world, and I'm just happy that we're back. So yeah, sorry for the late one on the first week. I'm gonna do one for this weekday too, which is already gone as well. Well, Liverpool playing Palace tonight. So yeah, so please like, share, and subscribe. Your boy Shellstastic for Shellstastic Sports. I'm gonna be on point now with videos on time and all different sports. Yeah, I've just been off, but I'm back now. So yeah, more videos to come. But I just wanted to give out my reviews for the weekday 1 in the Premier League, and I hope you enjoyed it. Anything I missed out, put it in the comment section below. And yeah, man, I'll definitely try and improve for weekday 2. So yeah, man, big up yourselves, everyone. Peace, and I'm out.